Okay, so we are in an introduction to statistical learning. We're in the conceptual questions of chapter 4, and we're on question 9. So here's the question. This problem has to do with odds, as it says right here. And so we'll look at what odds are and then look at questions part A and B. So recall what odds are. So odds are the probability of an event occurring divided by the probability of that event not occurring. Okay, so it's just a ratio between the probability of that something happens versus it doesn't happen. Okay, and so the formula looks like this right here. It's unfortunate that odds starts with the letter O, and that I am using capital O to denote odds because O looks very much like 0, but hopefully it won't be very confusing here. So that's what odds are. And so let's go through the question. So here in part A, we want to know what fraction of people with an odds of 0.37 of defaulting on their credit card payment will in fact default. Or another way we might state this is, what is the probability that somebody with an odds of 0.37 defaults on their credit card payment? Okay. So generally, so we are given here the odds, right? The odds are 0.37, and we know the formula for odds, and so we just need to solve for P. So generally, the way that we can solve for P is you can kind of just go through this, these few steps here, and we get a generic expression for finding probability P of an event given the odds, okay? And this is just the generic formula. So we can just plug in 0.37 to our generic formula, and we get about 27%. So stated from the top, somebody with an odds of defaulting where the odds are 0.37, that translates to a probability of 27% that they will default. Okay. So now in part B, we're going the other way. So now we have an individual that has a 16% probability of defaulting, and now we want to calculate the odds. Okay. So with this formula up here, we have P, and now we need to solve for O, or for odds. So that's just as simple as plugging in probability, or plugging in P to the equation, and you run that arithmetic, and we get 0.19, or about 19%. So stated differently, or I'm sorry, not 19%, an odds of 0.19. So stated differently, a person that has a 16% probability of defaulting translates to that person has an odds of defaulting of 0.19.